Okay, in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be talking about algebra tiles. So on your table of contents, you need to write algebra tiles and what page you're on. So you can pause the video until you get this copied if you'd like, but make sure it's in your table of contents. I'm going to check when I get back. So title of your paper, algebra tiles. Alright, now algebra tiles are fairly easy, but the first thing that you have to do is follow these two steps. So steps. So the first step is look at the key. Every time that you have algebra tiles, you're going to have a tile key. So to find out what each tile means, you must look at the key, then solve. Step 2 is to select the correct expression. So the entire reason that we are doing algebra tiles is to find an expression that each tile models. So at any time during the video, you can pause it to copy the notes. So take your time, make sure you get all these notes copied. So, first step was to look at a tile key. So we have to make a tile key first. So we're going to have our key here. This is our key. Alright, so we're going to have a small square. That means 1. We're going to also have a rectangle. That means X. We're also going to have another square that's filled in. That means -1. Then we're going to have a rectangle that is filled in. I bet you can guess what this right here represents, and that's -X. So this is our key. That's step 1. So we have to know what this key means. So if we see a square that's not filled in, that means 1. If we see a rectangle that's not filled in, that means X. If we see a square that's filled in, that means -1. And also a rectangle that's filled in means -X. So this is a key that we need to know. So let's look at number 1. Let's do an example. Alright, this right here is our first example. So we have, so go ahead and draw the algebra tiles on in your notes. Alright, so pause the video if you need to continue to draw. If you don't, then go ahead and try to write an expression that models this. So how we do this right here is we look and count how many rectangles we have. We have 1, 2, 3. And they're not filled in, so by our key, that means they each are an X. So this is an X, this is an X, and this is an X. So how many X's do we have? We have 3 X's. Alright, so we've got this right here taken care of. Now let's go over here. Now we have 2 squares, both of which are filled in. So that's a -1 and a -1. So put that in your calculator, and you go -1 plus -1, and you get -2. So 3x minus 2 is what these algebra tiles represent. Because we have 3 white rectangles, which means 3x, because we have 3 x's, and 2 algebra tiles that are filled in, which is both of those are -1, so we have 2 -1s. So 3x minus 2 is our expression. And that's what we want. So let's do another one. And I want you to pause the video and try this on your own to see if your answer matches mine. So first thing you need to do is draw your algebra tiles. Alright, so we have our algebra tiles here. So first thing we need to look at is how many rectangles we have. We have 1, 2, 3 rectangles. But are those positive or negative? So we go up here to our key. They're filled in, so this right here is a -X, -X, and -X. So how many -X rectangles do we have? We have negative 3. And how many? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. Are they positive or negative? Well, come up here to the key, and that means 1. So that's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how easy this right here is. So I want you to do one on your own. So draw all your algebra tiles here. So how many algebra tiles, so how many x's do we have? So, and then think, how many squares do we have? So I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to try this on your own. Once you get finished, restart the video and see if you're right. Alright, so hopefully you had enough time to get done. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. Are they positive or negative? So they're positive. So x, 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 x. So how many x's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4x. And right here, how many squares do we have? Plus 6. So hopefully you got that same answer. Now, we are going to do a couple more notes. The next thing we're going to look at is this right here. So again, draw your tiles. Alright, so shade this one in, and then shade these two in. So now you know something a little bit different than the examples we've been working. So hopefully you notice that, alright, I have some that's unshaded and some that are shaded. So what can happen? So right here, this is a 1 and this is a negative 1. What happens when you have a 1 and negative 1? So put this in here, 1 minus 1, and that's 0. So if you have a shaded in square with an unshaded square, these right here cancel. So I have another one. So this right here cancels with this one. So only one I have remaining is this one right here. Same thing with my rectangles. If I have a shaded one and an unshaded one, they cancel each other out. So they're no longer there. So looking at this example, what do I have left once I cancel everything? I have 1x and one unshaded square. So plus 1. So that's mine. Alright. So I want you to try one of these right here on your own. This right here is the hardest topic with algebra tiles. So I want you to try this one. Now remember, if we have a shaded and an unshaded, they cancel each other out. Alright, so pause the video and try this one. When you get done, try to hit play and see if your answer matches mine. Okay, hopefully I had enough time to do this. So I have 3 shaded and 2 unshaded rectangles. So I told you a second ago, if you have a shaded and an unshaded, like we have here, they cancel each other out, so they go away. But I have another shaded and an unshaded, so they cancel each other out as well. Leaving this one right here is the only thing that I have left. So this right here is a negative x. Over here we have shaded and unshaded squares. So that cancels with that cancels with that, leaves me with that. So negative x plus 1 is my answer. Now, I want you to try the algebra tile handout that I have available for you to make sure that you understand how to do this.